Hello everyone, here is the presentation of Emergency Response Visual Report by Team 5. And our chosen site is Milingimbi. Milingimbi community is located on the Milingimbi Island, and Milingimbi Island is part of the Crocodile Island group on the Arafura Sea. From the map, we can see it located in Northern Territory, and it is about 440 kilometers east of Darwin with 1 hour and 10 minutes flight direction. Based on the Milingimbi landscape map published by the local council in 2017, we can find out the community of the Milingimbi residents live together on the eastern part of the Milingimbi Island, and the living feature of the community contribute to the disaster response efficiency when faced the emergency scenario. Also, the flat terrain of the island is more conducive to the large-scale emergency facilities. Next, I will talk about the climate of the Milingimbi. Based on the Milingimbi airport weather data, the mean daily minimal and maximal temperature are around 20 to 25 degrees and 13 to 33 degrees. In Milingimbi, the raining and cyclone season run from November to April. The opposite way, the drought season starts from May to October. The extreme seasonality in Milingimbi may influence the functionality of the design in different seasons. Hence, the design shall consider the different emergency scenarios in each season. The Milingimbi Island's important bird area comprises 94 kilometers of the land in Milingimbi. The area is traditionally owned by the Aboriginal, and the shorebird is one of the most important birds in this island. And the ground tree is one of the most common trees in Milingimbi. Cyclone is one of the potential dangers may affect Milingimbi in each year. In the February 2015, the cyclone lamps was crossing Milingimbi and resulted to the environmental damage and uproad tree as well as sculptural damage to services houses.
Cycling lamp will cause problems. In life, this emergency disaster can break infrastructure and roads, which leads to water and electricity shortages, and problems with food supplies for the people living here. In addition to psychological trauma, especially among children. On the economic aspects, in addition to the economic loss caused by the destruction of infrastructure, many companies are affected, leading to higher unemployment. For solutions, we're looking for some corresponding solutions. Around the world, communities are relatively weak in responding to emergencies, and the communities in general are led out of large organizations or equipped with specialized rangers. For example, in the Milingimbi, the rangers will ensure remote residents were evacuated to towns with cyclone shelters and collects and stores over 1,000 liters of water. After the cyclone passed, they were back in action, working closely with service providers and the police to assist the damaged and prioritize their work. They cleaned trunks, took water and fuel to remote homelands, and ensured generators were working, and removed trees from power lines so power could be restored as soon as possible. Another regions. For example, in Mozambique, Episcopal Relief and Development is in contact with church partners in the infected areas as they assess the needs in their communities. They provide emergency relief such as food, water, and blankets.
So I'll be looking at the inhabitants of Milingimbi, and I think a really interesting place to start this is by looking at some of the quick stats from the 2016 census, which is the government survey run by the Australian Bureau of Statistics. So the population of Milingimbi is around 1,200 people, give or take, of which 95% are Indigenous, with an average age of 26 years old. The main language spoken on the island, and excuse my pronunciation, is Djamba Pinyu, which is spoken by 84% of the population as their first language. And about 98% of the homes are rented. And I think these statistics provide some really interesting insight when you're talking about an emergency management situation. Firstly, the fact that the average age is really quite young. A lot of people are not going to have had experience in these kinds of situations in the past. And the fact that English isn't the main spoken language is really important for how you're communicating information. You're essentially dealing with a cold community. And also the fact that basically all the homes are rented is interesting when you're talking about cyclones, because it means that people are less likely to have an insight or as much control over the construction of their home, or knowledge of the construction of their home as well. So the people of Milingimbi are Yolngu people, of which there are around 5,000 spread across East Island land. And in this society, essentially the social and religious organisation is around or divided into two groups. But within that, there can be lots of different clans. So Milingimbi alone has over 21 clan groups that are organised into 5 camps across the island. And the Yolngu people are known to have a really strong Indigenous culture, of which the land is central to their identity. And they also practice Aboriginal customary law. And this is really important when looking at an emergency situation, because there are lots of cultural rules that need to be considered. So this law dictates who can marry who can associate with who. So these things are really important when you're looking for a design solution that's going to be a fit for the cultural group.
Hi everyone, I'm Yue. I'm introducing residents and human rights issues. The residents of Milingimbi may cause health and ecological problems. First of all, Indigenous people in remote areas of the North Territory of Australia suffer from repeated infection due to excessive exposure to geological dust, inadequate housing, and lack of access to medical services. In addition, Indigenous communities, due to overcrowded environment, caused personal hygiene to be insecure, which led to the crisis of the sewage treatment system, which caused the water pollution. Australian Aboriginal communities in the Northern Territory, including the Milingimbi community, have caused a series of problems due to long-term alcohol abuse. Domestic violence have been long-term problems. High levels of iron are found in the water of the Milingimbi community, which encourages iron bacteria in the environment to form biofilms in the peppers and increases the chance of pathogens. They are the causes of chronic disease in Milingimbi community for a long time. The Northern Territory emergency response pointed out that there are serious children's sexual abuse problems in indigenous communities in remote areas of the Northern Territory, including the Miningambin community. The main causes of these problems are the proliferation of alcohol and drugs, no education and no medical conditions for health checks. Due to the global climate impact, Australia's Northern Territory is facing a serious problem of rising sea levels. Floods and storm surges will pose the greatest threat to Miningambin communities. Diabetes is a new problem faced by indigenous people in remote areas of the Northern Territory. According to the latest research in 2015, indigenous people in remote areas of the Northern Territory have a high incidence and diabetes and its complication and an earlier age. Compared with non-indigenous Australian Aboriginals are still a disadvantaged group and their health status is poor. Similarly, the Miningambin community is also facing the problem of diabetes. This is our reference list. This concludes our presentation. Thank you.